Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. Coaches, the JAMODI podcast is powered by Shoot 360. The future of basketball has arrived in Dallas-Fort Worth. Shoot 360 combines the latest sports technology with the fundamentals of basketball skill development. The result is a one-of-a-kind video game-like basketball program designed to improve your shooting, dribbling, and passing. Visit shoot360dfw.com to learn more and register for your free 1-hour workout evaluation. Shoot 360, the future of basketball is here. What's one thing that makes your program different?
I think just the priority, we place a high priority, all capital letters, on team chemistry and communication. And I alluded to that earlier. I'm really big on our guys coaching each other. And, it takes two things for that to happen. And it's, two things that are kind of unusual with teenage athletes. One, you got to have the courage to speak up. And two, if you're on the receiving end, you got to have your ears open and be receptive to what everybody's saying. And with us, I don't care if it comes from a senior or it comes from a freshman. Right is right. If they say something and what they said is accurate, then what they said is accurate, and that's all there is to it. And so I'm really big on guys coaching each other and being receptive when they are coaching each other. And it's when you have we have those 5 seniors that have been around. Jared he was on the 2019 state championship team. Samir was on that team. Kendall was a sophomore, and he made the shot to send us to state in 2020. Those guys have been around and been a huge part of what's going on. And so in the fall this year, I told my coaches, all right, we're going to let these guys run this segment of practice. And basically it was early in the year. It was just reviewing a bunch of offensive concepts. And I told those guys beforehand, all right, if we get to this point, I said, coaches are going to step back and you guys got the floor. And I want you to go over this, and this, hit these points. And it's y'all's show. And so we got to that point in practice, and I said, all right, Jared, Kendall, Braylon, Don, I talked to y'all about that a second ago. Here's your time. And I told the other guys, these guys have the floor right now. Be coachable. And the coaches stepped back, and for about that 15 minutes right there, Coach, I'm going to tell you that they said everything we would have said. They made every point we would have made. And I knew right then it was going to be a fun year. I didn't foresee, a run to a state championship game at 36-5, but I knew they'd be a fun group because they're going to be so coachable with each other, and that's special.
Coach, I think that's powerful, that activity to have your players take a drill or teach part of practice. Talk about ownership and them really feeling like they are a part of this thing. But then it also has to validate your teaching, right? Because if they get out there and really can't articulate or teach the points that your team, your offense is all about, or whatever it was, that's a reflection on us. So you felt like they did a great job with it?
They did a great job with it. And I've done it in the past, and maybe they missed a point or something like that. So I would wait until they were done. I would go out there and I would ask a question. I said, what, you said this in this particular situation here, what happens if this happens? How do we handle that? And then I step back again, and then they get back to making the point that I would have wanted them to make originally. I just kind of guide them to it, and they get to it.
I think great communicating teams are really special. Quiet guys kill you, and I think majority of players are stuck on quiet. So I love that activity. What were some other things that you did to actively cultivate the community? Because you go to any select practice, and a coach will stand there and be yelling, "We got to talk. We got to talk." But what were some things you actually did to make that happen?
Well, when someone would actually speak up and coach each other, I would stop it and I would praise it. And I'm a big believer. If you catch them doing something you want them to do, acknowledge that, praise it, and they'll do it more. And the other guys will see that and they'll want to do it more. And so I'm really big on that. When I hear a teammate coaching each other, and the other guy I can tell is being receptive, I'll stop practice and say, hey, good job right there, Kendall. You made a great point to Braylon right there. And Braylon, I can see by the way you're nodding and looking at him, you're listening to. I said, that's good basketball right there. I said, that's what everybody needs to be doing. and then bam, we're back in what we're doing right there. You just reinforce what it is you want to have happen. Because I think a lot of times as coaches and as players, when we see something happen correctly, in our mind, we don't really acknowledge it because we're thinking, well, that's what's supposed to happen. That's what we're supposed to do. Well, if you want more of that, you've got to praise that. And the more you praise that and encourage that, the more likely they are to repeat whatever it is that you praised.
I think we're so quick to, players and coaches, see a negative and jump all over that negative.
We'll speak up quick when it's negative. We get real quiet when it's positive.
That's good. I just want to celebrate you because I think anytime you see a program that does communicate well, that does trust each other, from coaches to players, assistant coaches to players, that's a direct reflection of the leadership. And so I think not knowing you very well, I would imagine just that you set probably an unbelievable tone every day with the way that you communicate and lead. So just celebrate you for that.
Well, I've been really fortunate to have, longtime assistants with me, and, I have a tremendous amount of trust in them, and I give them a tremendous amount of responsibility, and they have their own, segments in practice where they take the floor, and then this is their time to do this and this. And I'll communicate with them ahead of time. Hey, is this enough time for you to get your stuff? You need more time, less time? What do you need? And so the kids see that it's not just me. The kids see that it's all the other assistants they're not just there being yes men. They're actively involved with what's going on.
Longtime assistants or guy, when you can have that kind of continuity from year to year, golly, that's huge. It makes our job a lot easier. What have been some of your keys, you think, to keep, because there might just be where you literally had a great varsity assistant that did not have aspirations to be a head coach, loved the school, loved where he's at, and for whatever reason want to stay. But besides all that, what do you think that you did well to keep guys for a long period of time working with you?
Well, I think you just you treat them right. You treat them like you'd want to treat your children or your spouse or something like that. It's you're respectful of their lives they got going on, and I think working hours are a big thing. I think some people can work their assistants in the ground, and then it's not such a pleasant place to come to work. I think it's just creating that family atmosphere and understanding that they just got a phone call that their daughter is sick or something like that. They got to go run and take care of her. They know with me, it's just let me know. We'll make it work. We're gonna be fine. And not ever trying to make them feel guilty about having to go do something, or they always know that I support them, and then they also know that I support them in seeking out other jobs. I tell them you need to go look. You need to go look and just decide, is it something you want, somewhere you want to be versus being here? And they know that I have they have my full support on that stuff. And, I said, even if you go and interview and decide not to go, there's value in learning how to interview. But just be, I want to make sure that they know I'm not trying to keep them here. I want them to want to be here.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.